You know, lots of people ask me if I could go back, would I? And I have to say that I would. Australia is a very beautiful place, but if I could go back to Ireland, I would go in a heartbeat, you know. But all of my family is here in Australia now, so if I did go back, it'd be even more lonely than it was when I lived there. We lived really far from everybody else. And you know, the one thing about Ireland that a lot of people say is that it's green, but you just don't know until you get there how green it is. There's rolling hills and so many cows and sheep. There are so many cows, you think that they'd eat all the grass, but that stuff won't quit. It's just beautiful there. It's a very magical place. There's this one spot in particular that I really, really miss. It was the bench I would sit at in church. It was this old oak bench, and I'd always sit right in the middle. You know, you had a great view of the priest. You got beautiful rays of sun from the stained glass windows in the morning, and always this shine of pink and blue would land on my lap. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I don't think I could ever lose my faith. I don't know. I don't want to say things for certain. It's not my place. There is something special out there. Definitely something. See how my eyes, they're hazel, but there's a little bit of green in there. There's a little flick of blue, and the blue comes from my granddad. So my granddad had blue eyes, and he's actually related to Jesus. I tell people, you know, I have a little bit of Jesus in my eye, and they always laugh and say, "Oh, good for you." The one thing that's hard about being Irish, though, is adapting to the sun. I think that a human race would adapt to living on an earth with the sun so close by, but something happened there where the Irish got left behind, because I swear I get burnt every day. You know what I wonder sometimes? I wonder why in the middle of the road sometimes, or on the train tracks, the sidewalk, you see a single shoe. Where does that come from? What happened to that person to make the shoe, and just one, like, fly off their foot? And why is this happening all over the city? Do you sometimes experience those things where you walk by someone and you only hear half of their conversation? So, like, you have to sort of use your imagination to finish the rest of it. Like, this morning, I heard this guy on his phone saying to, I don't know, I was imagining it was his wife. And he was saying, "Honey, there's only a few more weeks left. We can hang on." All I could think was, oh my God, he has terminal cancer and he's gonna leave his wife behind and he only has a few weeks left to live. And so his mortgage is going to run out. He's going to have to take out a second one to pay for all the chemo he's been going through for 3 years, poor thing. And then by the end of it, he's going to leave his wife and his 2 children, Marie and Sophia, with a handful of debt. Then I thought to myself, God, I'm so glad I don't have cancer. I feel like sometimes we can take risks that we don't. You know, you're sitting on a train and you look at all the people there and they're all just looking at their phones or sitting down and averting gazes and looking out the windows, and you think, I could go crazy right now. I could leap out of my seat, run around the train and, you know, cause havoc, or maybe sing, or I don't know, you know, you can call the police and say, this guy only has 1 shoe on. And they say 1 shoe. And you go, I don't know why, it's weird. Maybe he left it in the middle of the road or something. Something really beautiful about living in New York City. The freedom, the tall buildings, the skyscrapers, you know, you don't get tired of it. And everybody's in a rush. It just, you know, I think I'd go crazy if all I could hear all day was birds chirping. It'd drive me insane. You know, it's a funny thing when people just don't know what to get you for your birthday. Like, you think, God, you've known me for years and you still don't know what I want for my birthday? My husband Johnny, you know, he got me his car, but it's a blue car. I like a green car, you know? I thought he knew that about me. It doesn't even really matter because he doesn't let me drive the car. He always takes it down to the golf course where he takes his assistant Joanne. They're always at the golf course. You know, he's always coming home late and I say, Johnny, you know, your dinner's cold. And he says, oh, I was golfing with Joanne. He doesn't even try to hide it or anything, you know. I bet he's been spending all day getting a hole-in-one. You gotta love Scotland though. What other place would put a sheep all crunched together in a bag of itself? Only in Scotland. Men with skirts. But of course you wouldn't call it a skirt there, it's a kilt. In Scotland we got a grand old film industry. But in Scotland the thing that's hard about shooting is that it's always raining. So, you know, the rain will change the actor's hair around, and so the contingency is hard, you know, because the hair keeps moving around and you got different raindrops. In Scotland we've had a little bit of trouble with our tourism industry. You know, we tell people, well, if you bring your plants, you know, they'll get a good watering. People come off the plane with a little pot of petunias and they can have a good old time roaming through the hills while their plant gets watered by the Scottish sky. When he came to my door, I was writing a letter and the candle was burning out. I had only 4 days before it could be delivered to John, and I hadn't decided how to end it yet. I didn't know if I should say I love him or not, or if I wish him well in the war, or if I should say that I was pregnant. I didn't know how to end that letter. I hope I made the right decision. I told him I would see him soon, and I gave it to the messenger, and well, it's been 2 weeks now and I haven't heard back from him just yet. I hope John's all right. Something I've noticed that there's a significant lack of in Australia is picnics on the side of hills. In London we have lots of things like that. Whenever the sun comes out, people are so happy that it's there that they take their blankets and they take their sandwiches and they all sit on the side of the hill. Oh, it's such a lovely sight. Of course, there is something a little bit funny about it as well, because British people usually like to stay indoors. You know, they're locked up inside. And to see them out in the sunlight is like a bunch of, you know, white little birds sitting on the side of a hill. You know, people say like, oh, how are you cold? You're from Canada. And it's not as if I don't feel things, like I don't have feelings in my body. Yes, I get cold too. It's not like I wasn't cold when I lived there. People must think that Canada is like, in the great land of Canada, we, my son Eagle Bear and I, we dig holes in the ground to save our food for winter. And then the great snowfall will fall on us. Don't freeze me, please. And then Polar Bear say, oh my God, it's so cold. And we say, Polar Bear, give us your skin. That's how we stay warm in Canada. Of course, it's nothing like that at all. People live in houses, people live in cities. And if they break their leg, it gets fixed for free. God knows things weren't meant to turn out this way. We weren't supposed to live in a melting world where everyone's fighting with each other. You know what I saw on TV is that from space, you can't see borders. Changes the way you think about things, don't it? You know, from way above, we're just this pale blue dot, as they say. I can't say where Israel starts and Iraq starts, and it's all just one big blur, and that's the way it should be. And you zoom down and people are getting all, you know, hokey pokey about this is mine and I believe this, and gosh, there used to be a simpler time. And I think we lived in it once. I think we lived in that time, unfortunately, before we knew so much. It was this morning when I went to the bakery down the street, but I couldn't remember the word for... I forgot it again. Bread. In your language, bread. Couldn't remember that word. So I went to the bakery and ended up buying like 6 muffins instead, because I was too embarrassed to say, could I buy your big lump of dough that is baked? I don't want to give away that my English is not very good. I couldn't even. I work on this. I can't imagine now going back to France. I don't know where to go back to France when you can live in such a sunny, friendly place. People always ask, are you from Spain? People ask, are you from the Czech Republic? And I try to show off European knowledge. I know they say Ukraine. Who knows what the Ukraine accent sounds like? I don't even know. I'm not very good at this accent thing. I'm stuck with this. The people are so nice here, you know. In Paris, people, if they wave at you and smile in the street, it is because they're trying to slow you down and they want to ask question, or they want to take wallet, thief, steal. They want to take things from you. I live in Melbourne now, and if people smile or wave in the street, it is because they are happy. They is okay to be here, and they like this. You know, life is good here, and the people are just nice. I wish I was more confident and I could say hello, because there are a lot of beautiful people I see, and I want to say hi. And I want to say my name is Kyla, and would you like to possibly, you know, maybe go somewhere with me? But it sounds creepy when I say it. So I kind of wait for them to ask me, but maybe they are shy too, or they're not attracted, I don't know. But maybe just for a moment, maybe it is enough. I enjoy seeing them, and I am happy there is one more, as far as I know, attractive person in the world. I'm gonna try and go back to that bakery tomorrow and ask for the bread. I will ask for a loaf of bread, and the lady will say, your English is so good. Hopefully, we know. Fingers crossed. When I was little, you know, the song Who Let the Dogs Out was popular, but it was also a very good question, because a lot of us get mauled by dog. And the question, coincidentally at the time, was who let the dogs out because we killed them. I love Russian food. You know, it is the best. But in Russia, there's nothing like nachos. I know that sounds so weird, but you find a Mexican place in Russia, you are hitting the jackpot. I mention nachos because when I was little, my self-esteem was low, very low, low to ground, and I don't feel good about myself. I try to, end it all, basically. But now, these days, I'm so glad I don't do that, because when waitress come around corner with nachos, I think to self, I am so glad I'm not dead. Nachos are so good. I feel like every time I'm down, every time I don't feel good, it's because I don't eat. I don't eat good food. And then when I do eat good food, like a nacho, I feel better about myself. I feel better about life. So when friend is down, down low to ground, not feeling good, I say, let's go, to restaurant. Let's give that nuisance a rest, and let's go get some cannelloni or something nice, something not potato. Do you want is taste sweeter than arsenic? Marshmallow pie. It tastes better than death. Or you know what would taste better than barrel of gun? Fondue. Because they don't try these things. A lot of people in Russia, they don't really experiment. They see life through this whole new perspective. They go, I have food. What if I put it in cheese pot? Won't that be good? And I say, that would be good. So, you feeling down, just do what old papi say and go get something nice and hot and beautiful, and I always recommend the nachos. It's not usually until I fall asleep that all these thoughts finally come into my head, when I'm trying to tell myself, no, I want to sleep now. And I get these funny ideas. I get ideas for skits, cartoons, even tiny little jokes or puns. And they won't leave me alone. And I think to myself, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it. But the thing is, you never do. And then in the morning, you try and remember. You're like, oh, I thought of something last night and I thought it was really, really funny. Oh, it was something to do with one shoe on the street, and a guy has cancer and he's gonna, die and leave his wife and children with debt. Oh, it was hilarious, but I don't remember why. You're stuck there thinking, why are shoes funny? So the best thing is just to have a little notepad beside your bed and write those things down.